Hey everyone, welcome back to 22 Panels. This is the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I am Tyler, and across the interwebs from me is my good buddy Tad. Hey Tad, how's it going?
It's going good because I get to do double duty today. I
Yeah.
just talked to Stephen Frank for an hour and a half, and
hmm
now we're talking to Tom King.
Oh, I get
So
it. I get second pick already off the
no,
bat.
actually,
I understand.
I think it's completely crazy.
I
Stefan
am
is
the
on the
B
West
picture on the
Coast.
double feature.
Stefan is on the West Coast, but he asked for the 7 o'clock time slot. You're on the East Coast, but asked for the 9 o'clock time slot. It's not my fault.
yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. So
I
did
mean,
you
he
did you blow
did
all your
work
good
on
questions?
he
You have
did
like
work
no
on the
good
Iron
questions
Giant.
He blew all the good questions already.
Ah,
I haven't previewed the audio
But
yet,
that's why
but
I brought Samantha and Tyler for this one because they weren't on the other one. That was just me.
look, I've seen the Iron Giant,
Well, there you go.
so that's pretty good.
Despicable Me.
oh, he worked on that
I've
too.
also seen that. I've seen so many things.
So, Tom, I want to start with Animal Pound, at least
Okay.
briefly, because you did something in the ash can of Animal Pound that caught me really off guard. Because in my experience with you, you are humble. You are, if anything, underrating of your own brilliance.
I thought you were
That
gonna say you killed a dog, and then you were gonna be mad.
No, we're talking
and
about your
at the
letter at the
end,
end.
I'm just going to read the last
Oh
paragraph.
God! Oh no!
You said
No, it's
Animal
so
Pound is
good.
an updating of Orwell's masterpiece. It is a series to be put in the hands of every reader in the country, a
This is
book that will be
horrible. Why
assigned
did
in
this get published?
classrooms and inspire essays and interpretations. This is a series to cause
Oh
conversation,
God, the
to be in
horror.
every book and comic store for thousands of people to argue over and to love. But most of all, this is a series that will talk about our time as Orwell talked about his. We need the past to guide us, but not to own us. We too can create masterpieces. Um,
I
Okay.
loved it. Like
They
I
thought that-
I thought your boldness
Look at
like
me.
well,
I was like,
I mean,
yes.
again, given what I know of you, the fact that you wrote that, I mean, after having read the Ashcan itself, which was amazing, as I expected it to be,
Yeah.
reading that, what immediately went through my head was game on.
Yeah.
I can't wait for more, and issue one is out, and it hasn't disappointed. So
That's wonderful. That should definitely be my public personality from now on. I'm
hmm
just gonna be
Just
everything I do.
my stuff is
I'm
the best.
perfect. Yeah, it's that Stan Lee. Like
no,
he'll be like
You're
issue
gonna stand on your soapbox.
because it only works if you deliver.
6 of Ant-Man comes out and he's like, "This is the greatest comic of all time," and this one Ant-Man's in a vacuum. You've never seen anything like it. You know, like
Hey Tad, before we go too far, let's introduce Samantha.
Oh yeah, Samantha Chavez from Psychocomicology has rejoined us. She's been on a few times before. We love her work and we love her questions.
what a pleasure. What you're seeing there is the product of an editor called Mark Doyle, who worked on nothing on Animal Pound, but was my first editor back on Sheriff of Babylon.
Okay.
And when I turned in my first comic book pitch a decade ago, was like, Tom, when you're writing a comic book pitch or you're writing a pitch, aim for the fences. Like, tell us like the best version of what this possibly could be. And ever since then, I write these very, I don't want to say hyperbolic because Lord knows everything is true, but my pitches are very hyperbolic. They're like, this is going to be Watchmen meets Jaws. You know, it's like just picks like two of the greatest things of all time. And I did such a pitch for Boom for Animal Pound, and they published the pitch. You know, that was not
Oh,
that was not written for public consumption.
Oh,
And much like I often miss your emails, I'm sure they sent me an email being like, Tom, we're publishing the pitch in the back of this ash can. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that. I'll respond to that one and tell them not to do that. And before I know it, there it is.
that's
my
fun.
my arrogant, yeah, that's from the those, yeah, that would
That's
well,
awesome.
I mean, so far it's been prescient.
thank you. I'm gonna I try to be humble, but I really like Animal Pound. The first 3 issues are very good. I haven't written the last 2, so maybe those will suck. But
I doubt it.
I'm very proud of whoever the writer was who wrote those, because I just signed off on the second issue and I just can't believe how great it came out. It's blowing my mind.
No, it's blowing ours as well. And it's another example of, and one of the reasons I wanted Samantha to join me when we talked to you, with all of your work, are very in the moment. You tap into kind of a
That's the
national
nicest way you
psychology.
could say you're dated. I get it. Yes.
You
No,
did.
no. Because it's often universal moments, but
You know,
they're also things that we struggle with today. Um, so, I mean, that's why I loved the pitch, because it told me that this was going to be what I expected it to be. This was going to be about how, without even noticing it, we're on the verge of a very scary world. Um,
Yes, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. And George Orwell, God bless him, he's the great writer. Animal Farm is an amazing book, which most of us read in middle school.
Yep.
yep.
But it was written in 1944 when the Communist Party was teamed up with the government of Britain to defeat the Nazis, which was a good cause. And on top of that, the Communist Party was sort of at its heightened power in Britain. And Orwell famously was a member of that party and then got, or kind of a fellow traveler of the party, and got disillusioned in Spain when the party sort of betrayed him and he got shot in the neck. Um, and he saw this that communism leads to dictatorship. And so he was writing sort of this as a warning to his fellow Brits to be like, you are bedfellows with something that could go very poorly wrong. And it was a fellow traveler, like a guy who very much believed in anti-capitalism and communist causes, saying that this can lead to something very bad. It can lead to Stalinism. It can lead to, the archipelago. I'm not pronouncing that word out. The archipelago, the camps, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a wonderful warning. And it was not a super popular book when it came out. The CIA, my former employers, made it a very popular book and it had a huge impact, especially on this country, and sort of being like, this is communism is bad, which communism leading to Stalinism is fairly bad. But it doesn't kind of speak to our current moment. I'm not currently afraid of communists. They don't scare me. I don't think they're coming for us. I don't think we're going to be taken over by a revolution. I'm more afraid of something else, and not a revolution taking us over, but someone sort of manipulating the rules we set up, which we thought were very solid, and using those very rules against the system to overcome it. So that's what Animal Pound is about. It's instead of being about communism, it's about fascism and sort of how that sort of slips inside the system almost like a disease rather than a revolution.
Awesome. Had you worked with Peter Gross in the past?
Yes, I had. We worked together in 1998. I was an intern at Vertigo Comics, and I photocopied his pages
Okay.
on a photocopy machine.
For what book? Was it Unwritten or Lucifer? Or?
Books of Magic. That's how far. That's how old I am.
Okay.
Yeah, Books of Magic. Going way back to the pre Harry Potter days before that book was ripped off. That's not actually 100% true. Although it's a little bit. He did a bunch of issues of Books of Magic. For people don't know, it was just a Neil Gaiman created character who very much resembles Harry Potter before Harry Potter. Timothy something, I can't remember. Tim something. And I always thought he was a genius. I really love Lucifer, and he got that pitch, and he called me, and he's like, this is everything I want to work on. Let's do it. And I was like, I know this guy can draw devils and demons and stuff. Can he draw cats and dogs?
Right.
And I Googled like Peter Gross and cats, and I found one panel from Lucifer where he had drawn a cat. I was like, that's a pretty good cat. Let's go. And
Timothy Hunter is the character.
Timothy, I got the first name. That's not bad.
You did. I knew you had the first name. That's why I had to go get the second name, because I'm a geek that way.
I not worked for Peter Gross since I photocopied his pages as a little intern.
I spent some time with Shelley Bond at CXC this year, and you came up in a different sense because you and Shelley both have the same philosophy on for her, it was an artist that takes more time and scheduling the fill-in artists. For you, it was you had Batman every 2 weeks, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do these 5 one-shots to give I forget who time to get the next arc going. But she asked me what you were doing, and I said, well, I'm really excited for Animal Pound he's doing with Peter Gross, and she was over the moon that you're working with Peter Gross and on a non-superhero book
nice.
because, even though she likes your writing, she doesn't do superheroes.
Shelley was in that or in the room next door when I was doing all
I
that
know she was.
photocopying, whatever it was, 25, 30 years ago. So that's how far we go back.
Yeah.
God. Oh, I'm getting old.
She said nice things, and she said the next time I talk to you, I had to send her a link. So, Shelley, hello.
Very
Hopefully
nice.
you're listening.
I started through Vertigo.
I'm
People
wearing
forget that
the
about
geezer
me.
shirt for you, Shelley.
She's wonderful. I wouldn't have a career without Shelley, honestly.
So how'd you get that internship with Vertigo?
Nepotism.
Okay.
Straight up
Uncle.
Nepo baby.
Very honest.
No, why hide? I think if you are benefiting from nepotism, at least admit it. Don't.
Yeah.
But my mother was a studio executive.
Okay. Okay.
I was raised by a single mother in LA who just happens to be a studio executive at Warner Brothers, and she was the one female studio executive in the room, except there was one other one, and that was the head of Warner Brothers, who was a con. Oh my God, her name fell on my head. And so the two of them would bond, and then she knew Paul Levitz through her.
Sure.
And when I went to school in New York, and I always, that's all I wanted to do since I was a little kid, was work on comic books. And I asked her, I was like, is there any way I could get an internship? And she's like, well, let me see if Paul will meet with you. And I met with Paul Levitz, 1998. Yeah, super. And I still remember it was a magical fucking day. It was like, I couldn't believe it was like me going into the Wonka factory. It was absolutely crazy. I'm a Simpsons fan, but there's like a Simpsons where he like goes into the Mad Magazine offices and they all look like,
Yep.
Like literally that was my day. Like Paul took me on a little tour and they're like, floor 5 was the Mad Magazine offices, and you open the door and you're like, oh my God, there's Sergio Arconius. It was as cool as that.
Paul took us on a video tour of his home office, and we went nuts.
That was funny.
What it must.
We were on a Skype call with him, or a Zoom call, and he took us on a little tour.
He pulled out the bookshelves full of the Pound.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was super. And I'm a huge Legion fan. That was like my nerd. I had a complete, or not a complete.
Wait a minute, you're a huge Legion fan?
Legion of Superheroes, yeah.
Okay, so Tom.
Yeah.
I need you to.
Oh, you froze. I don't know what I need to do.
Scribble it down somewhere. Every April we do a Legion of Superheroes roundtable.
Oh.
So you got to join us this year.
I'm in. I will give you my opinions on Ultra Boy.
Perfect.
Which are that he's awesome.
Great.
Those are the opinions.
Yes, those are my opinions. I'll give you all my opinions. I'll give you all my top Legion.
So
my youngest is a Legion fan, so we go like top 5 Legionnaires and all that stuff.
Oh, sweet.
Samantha, jump in with your questions if you've got any.
Yeah. I've just been enjoying the conversation. I'm just like, please give me more. There was a point that Tad brought up, and like the writing that you do is so, it's very like the way that I read it, it's very here and now. And like even some of the older stuff that you've written can still like, it relates very prevalently in like modern society. And my husband and I were talking about it because I was telling him all about like Heroes in Crisis, and I love that series, love that comic. Huge fan.
Samantha and I are the only ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you're the one. I was like, my audience.
Remember, the first thing you said to me is nobody wants to talk about Heroes in Crisis.
Unless they want to yell at me about Heroes in Crisis.
No. Okay, so I read why everybody does not like it, and I was like, point taken. But
I can see that.
There's like a lot of other stuff in here. And like the biggest thing we were talking about is like the use of like AI in like therapy, which is something that is kind of like becoming much more like prevalent with like ChatGPT and like all these different like robotic, therapeutic ways and therapeutic measures. And we were just like, how did he like know, or how did like what was he seeing like from his like standpoint, that he was like, oh, this is something that's going to be prevalent like in society, or like just it's gonna be there someday, it's gonna be there eventually. um
I don't know. That's a great question. I wish I could take credit for it. I think I was just stealing from Star Trek like I usually do. I think it was taken from there's a famous Deep Space Nine episode where Quark's nephew has to deal with his PTSD and goes into the holodeck,
Okay.
um, and so I think that sort of idea in the back of my head that you kind of experience trauma through a holodeck kind of environment and talk to an AI that way. So I'd like to say it was super original, but I think DS9 thought of it 20 years before me. But I brought it into. Do you know the original ending that Dan Didio called me? He's like, at the ending, I want the AI to take over Flash's brain, and then Flash becomes an AI controlled robot and he kills everybody. And I was like, no, Dan.
No.
So,
that'd be very interesting.
yeah, that would have been interesting.
I connected with it not so much like on a therapy level, because obviously that's what I do. Like I do trauma work. I work with kids, veterans.
Oh, bless you.
But my dad is an ex Chicago fireman, so he went. He did his time. He's retired now, and it brought me back to like this idea and like this thought that like I never saw him cry, but I know like the things that he would go through. Like we weren't allowed to watch like Backdraft, right, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So like I know hypothetically the things that he went through and the things that he saw, especially working in Chicago. But it was like, wow, like that was the first time I had, I'm not going to say empathy for my dad, but like the first time that I thought and said like, whoa, like he probably never talked to anybody unless it was somebody that was like very quickly, like, this is how I'm feeling, put the mask, on, take it off, go back for the rest of the day. So it connected with me on the, professional level of like working with veterans and working with kids that have gone through trauma, but also like this very like personal, like, oh, like I'm seeing it in two different lenses. And I thought it was just such a beautiful way of like explaining that.
I can't say much. I appreciate it. Yeah, that book, it gets a lot of crap, mostly because people hate the fact that sort of Wally makes the mistake he makes. Mostly because people misread it and they think Wally killed everybody, but he doesn't. He just loses control of his powers for 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But so I get a lot of hate for that, and I like don't post about it because I just don't want to deal with all the hate that comes. But it's the only book I've written, well, Mr. Miracle a little bit, but like where I get so many people that come up to me in booths, especially veterans who, I mean, this sounds so fucking braggy, and I apologize, but that's the book people come up and they're like, this saved my life. This got me in a time when I really sort of needed to get through a thing. This meant a ton to me, and so like people ask me, oh, do you regret that book? I was like, not for 1/2 a second, because that book, I know you don't like it for this reason, but it touches people in a way. And I mean, at the time, we've talked about this, I'm sure I was suffering a lot. And I'm in a better place now than because of therapy, and probably because of, talking to people like you and writing that book. But I was able to sort of channel some of the stuff I had gone through into that book, and so I can, people can relate to it. So yeah, I'm incredibly proud of the book. I wish it had a different title. I wish I had miscast a bit of Wally, but besides that,
I don't know. I mean,
and Clayman is absolutely kills it on the art. There's just some stuff I love about it.
Oh yeah.
I recently had the argument again in a comic shop about that book, and I actually am in the short group of people who don't even think that Wally's miscast, because I think it's about having one bad moment.
I mean,
It's supposed, I mean, to really drive that home to me, having somebody that it feels completely out of character for is actually important. It's all of this stuff can make anybody can have a bad moment, and that doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them, it makes them hurting and having a bad moment. And when you're talking about superheroes,
It was also one of those things where there's kind of a flaw in the matrix of DC where you brought Wally back and he was super happy and it was all wonderful, but they hadn't brought his kids and his wife back. And to me, I mean, that would be such a trauma for me to come back to a world and my kids were dead and my wife was dead.
No kidding.
And I had to kind of live with that. And I think people were like, but wait, we're happy Wally's back and he seems happy and huggy. And I was like, yeah, but it was hard for people to comprehend. It was almost like I was like pointing to a flaw in something. I don't know.
and I have the advantage of not being a huge DC guy, so I'm not like super attached to Wally West, etc.
Sometimes you miscast. I did miscast. It was not the right thing for the audience. It was not the right vessel for that message. And I'm the first to admit that. So I did my.
But it is I think both an incredible book and an important book because I mean, like your Batman run, which I mean, the reason I fell in love with your work and was through your Batman run. Which was the first time I mean, I've been a Batman fan my whole life, but it was the first time I ever subscribed to Batman because it was the first time Batman had feelings other than I'm sad, vengeance. And there are lots of great stories that can be told with I'm sad, vengeance.
Right.
But the idea that Batman would explore, can I be happy? Was like amazing to me. Just like the idea that, I mean, if you think about it, how unrealistic is it that a superhero that has a massive fight every day or at least once a week would have like no mental health repercussions? So just the mere fact that you acknowledge that they were human enough to have trauma is incredibly important. As a trauma survivor, as somebody who's had mental health issues my entire life, just knowing we're not alone is so valuable.
Yeah, and that was part of it, and I think that's where I kind of went too far, is right. But what I was trying to say, what you were trying to say, is like, if you have trauma, sometimes you do bad things and you make bad decisions. And you have to come back from that too. Yeah. And part of being human is finding our way to forgiveness and understanding, and not only of others but of ourselves, in order that we don't make those mistakes again.
Right.
And that was sort of part of what Heroes in Crisis was for me, as opposed to Mr. Miracle, where he has a meltdown. I mean, he makes a mistake of sort of self-harm, but and in that way he hurts his wife, but he didn't really deal with the repercussions of people who go through trauma and then make bad decisions and try to come back. It was kind of taking one more step than Mr. Miracle took, and I enjoy that about the book, but it's also a tough pill to swallow in superhero comics. But hey, let's I'm here to push some boundaries. I don't want to push any boundaries also.
Well, but I mean, it's never been completely absent from superhero comics. I mean, we talked a little bit last time about your fun run-in with Dean Cain when he had, and the way I know that Fox News doesn't read Wonder Woman is you haven't had any run-ins lately. Which means that they're so misogynist that they don't even bother with Wonder Woman.
Well, I'm also fairly off social media, so I don't think they think I'm not even a fun target anymore because they know I'm not going to respond.
I don't think they know who Tom Taylor is. That didn't stop them from going after the gay Superman.
The weirdest one was when they went after Matthew for the dream sequence one panel where Joker's pregnant. Right. That was totally out of context.
That was a weird one.
Made it to Fox News.
Right. So they read Superman and Batman. They clearly, or at least they flip through them. They flip through them for the thing to like jump on, but this is flown under their radar.
I don't think Wonder Woman's controversial to me. It's not. It shouldn't be something they. If you're mad at that book because you're like that bad guy is me, you just need to look in the mirror and realize you're better. That's not you.
Agree.
That's not you. Like when I was a kid and I read about Reed Richards being mad at Doctor Doom. I wasn't like, oh, that's so unfair because I emphasize at Doctor Doom. No, it's like you come on,
But
you're not the bad
but
guy.
I feel like you're taking on some toxic masculinity here in a way that I really appreciate. Um,
I greatly appreciate it, but I don't want it's more of a black and white comic, you know. It's
Yeah.
I mean Wonder Woman's every issue about Wonder Woman is it has the theme of Wonder Woman is awesome.
well,
That's
yes.
that's the focus, and that's sort of my North Star, and that's what I'm going for. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm against anything that's toxic, and yeah, that's just that, and I'm against stupidity. I'm against ignorance, and if you're seeing yourself in the bad as the bad guy, you're not. You're a better person than that. You're not ignorant. You're not stupid. Read the comic book. I have faith in you.
What's your reasoning behind like Wonder Woman has to be awesome? Like I'm obviously reading it like as it hits, the stands. I'm like, all right, let me grab the next one. And I do agree, Wonder Woman is awesome and she's amazing and I love her. But like, what's the like why?
I mean, it's a fantastic question. When someone says they have a fantastic question, say that it's because they don't have an immediate answer. The answer is a few things. On the surface, it's me learning as a comic book writer and doing superhero comics. You mentioned Tom Taylor before. I started off on Nightwing or a comic called Grayson, and we had to constantly deny our audience stuff that people wanted out of that character. The romance. I mean, we added some of it, the sexiness and all that stuff. But we had to deny him that he could be the brother. We had and we could only dish out in these kind of small doses. And that was kind of where DC was at sort of the end of New 52. And then Tom comes along and he gives us a Nightwing where he's just like, here's everything the audience wants from this character. And people love it. And it's a wonderful superhero comic that it doesn't deny pleasure to the audience. And I admired Tom. I've told him this to his face. I was like, I think that's a wonderful way to write superhero comics to give the audience what they want, because part of what I want when I come to a superhero comic is just joy. And so that's the first part of it. Like, I think if you're approaching a Wonder Woman comic, if you're a Wonder Woman fan enough to buy a Wonder Woman comic, I want to give you joy. And part of that joy is you're a Wonder Woman fan, so I want to justify your fandom. I want that to be part of it. So that's a chunk of it. Another chunk is Wonder Woman's a very bizarre character in that she's been written and rewritten. She's had a ton of runs that are completely forgettable. She's had some that are excellent. She's not like a Batman where she's achieved like incredible mountaintops. And so just Wonder Woman fans who have been, I mean, there's long suffering. They're like Bills fans. They deserve a win. So that's part of it too. Like I just want that fandom deserves a kick-ass Wonder Woman. That fandom deserves a Wonder Woman who is kick-ass. And so that's part of it too. Yeah, so I mean those are probably the two biggest factors. I feel like I'm serving the fans. Also, I don't know, as I get older, I mean I've worked on so many sad comics where I've deconstructed somebody and learned how they tick. So I just like writing something that's about a good person kicking ass. And that's just it's fun. It's a fun kind of comic to write.
Speaking of deconstructing a character, did you get to pick the Riddler for the One Bad Day series, or did you?
I mean I didn't pick it, but in the way that when our editor Mitch and I were looking for a follow-on project to whatever we had just come off of. Strange Adventures, and I talked to the editor about sort of stuff that was coming up, and we had just done Strange Adventures, Mr. Miracle back to back, and those are wonderful books and they sell really well, but they don't sell Batman numbers,
Right.
And so Mitch was like, can we do a Batman thing, because just like literally to like put food on his table and to take care of his kids. And so I was like, do you have any Batman stuff for Mitch? And he's like, we have this idea we're kind of fiddling around. We're maybe like doing a riff on the Killing Joke. And I happen to know that Mitch's like all-time goal since he was a little kid was to do a defining Riddler story. So I was like, can we do Riddler? That's all Mitch wants to do. And he's like, yeah, you guys do Riddler. So I picked it for Mitch. So it was more him than me.
Okay, because that was so good. It was my favorite out of
Was
that whole thing.
amazing.
Thanks.
I have 2 questions. Is it canon, and is Riddler still alive?
Yeah, I mean, those were legit questions we had at the end of it going, is this canon? Because this would be awesome.
Those are 2 questions that I can't answer.
Okay,
that's fair.
I think it's I think it goes right back to the Killing Joke. I mean, I've written about this. You guys probably heard me lecture about it.
Yeah.
There's some debate, but in my head, when I was a little kid, the Killing Joke was not continuity.
Right.
Because it came out the same time that in the regular books, the Joker was working for the Shah of Iran and then got blown up in a helicopter. If you guys sort of remember that bizarre Junipero stuff.
Right.
But it came at the same time or near the 89 movie enough that people were like, this is what the real Joker is. And then over time, that story became continuity. And over time, the ending of that story became, did this happen? Did he kill him? And it became continuity because people liked it and people played with it. And I mean, I just saw an ad in a book today that Chip is riffing on it for his Disney Joker series.
Right.
So if continuity is decided by the people after you, not what I decide. So if people riff on it, if people make something of it, then it's continuity. And if it's not, it's not. If people love it, what people love becomes continuity.
I've only heard good things because, yeah, Tad and I both want it to be continuity.
We do, kind of.
I do.
The origin story is his origin story, as stupid as it is.
Right.
When I was like, what is the Riddler's origin story? I have no idea. So I looked it up, and his origin story was when the Riddler was a kid, he cheated on a test and got caught, and therefore he became the Riddler, which makes no sense at all. But that's what we had to work with. He cheated on a test and got caught, and so became the Riddler. In the cartoons, he has even a more bizarre origin story where he's a game designer, a video game designer, and he gets screwed over and so decides to become the Riddler by designing. He gets fired from his job where I'm sure he's making like $60,000 a year, and then he designs a virtual reality thing that would cost $50 million. The most ridiculous episode. But yeah. So I think the origin story is probably continuity. I would think.
Yeah. So
whether he lives or dies, I have no idea.
Okay.
It seems like Batman killed him at the end of me, but
it really did feel like it.
It did. And I was like, holy crap.
It really did feel like it.
He had no choice.
That's what it felt like.
Maybe he just put him on an island somewhere. Maybe he took him to Sanctuary and now he's been forgiven.
He's just hanging out there.
Yeah, he's just hanging out there at the AI.
So I'm going to go a little bit lighter for a second, just because you wrote one of my favorite panels of the year. One of the few times that I wound up immediately. You've written a couple of them because there was one in Pound 2.
I like this one.
But
Helena Ortega, God, she drew this perfect. Oh my goodness, look at that perfection of art.
Trinity is saying, "Can I go back to sitting in the front on the way home? I swear I won't press the eject button again, even if it was funny when you were flying."
I think she in this like series, like she's so cute. Like she is the perfect like little sister where it's like you are a menace and you are trouble, but like we have to love you and take care of you, but you are sneaky.
I have both a daughter who's a little sister, and I have and she was a bit of a menace, but even worse, she has a younger brother who's there's a gap between them. You know, my oldest two are basically 15 and 14, and then there's a 10-year-old who follows them. And so I have this kind of dynamic in my house where there's a younger one who causes all sorts of problems and tries to get forgiven of it. So I just kind of, when I write this, my kids yell at me because they're like, "This is just us. You're just writing us in a book."
It's just good content.
Yes. It's free content. Yes, I love. You know, the reason this is in here is this is a failure. It's funny if you pick out this one panel because I had in my head I was going to do a page where they're driving and she presses the button and you just see Robin fly through the air. And when I wrote the actual thing, I was like, oh, I only have 8 pages. There's no real place to put this in. I took too long with the tying the shoes scene.
I think it actually works better this way.
Yeah, so it is put off screen as a joke.
It's like the broken shark.
Yes,
Is what
exactly.
made Jaws.
So yeah, what you're seeing is a joke of a page I cut.
Yeah.
And Belena draws it just so perfectly.
And I've been loving these backup stories in general. I just noticed that you've got a collection of them coming out with another story with it at the end of the month.
Yes. So there's a Trinity special, which is kind of like a one shot or annual kind of thing.
Right.
Which collects all of the first 3 of those.
Right.
And plus her origin story, plus Daniel Sempure and I, who do the main Wonder Woman book, did a new Trinity little short story in it. And it's wonderful. I just got it. It's printed on glossy paper and it's pretty, and
I think it's
due out. And they're all in order
next week, right?
In age order. Yeah, I think it should be out next week.
Yeah, next week.
So it's so you can read Trinity when she's 6, and you can kind of read it all the way through. Oh, and it has her first appearance too. So it has like they're in chronological order. It's super fun. So you can read her from when she's 6 to when she kind of starts talking to Sovereign, to like it literally what and the present day is, but whatever is 19 years in the future.
Right.
And yeah, it's super fun. And the next I guess they're Gen S, I'm calling them now. The next Gen S special is in Wonder Woman 6, which is an amazing issue for the art, the Daniel art. But then in the next one, she's 6 again. So there's 3 times. So she's 6 again. So she's back to that little girl, the little Wonder Robin we saw. And this whole episode is about how she won't fall asleep, and that the boys are babysitting her and trying to get her to go to sleep, and she refuses to fall asleep. And Damian tells her a story, and he decides to tell her the story of Final Crisis and how he defeated Darkseid. And then she gets scared that Darkseid is hiding in her closet, and then Damian's like, "Darkseid's not in her closet." And it's the best thing. And yeah. And this Belena, I saw her at a con, and she was not mad at me, but she was definitely like a little bit I put upon her. Where she came to me and she said, "Tom, why am I drawing so many kangaroos?" She's Spanish. She's from Spain. She's like, "I don't know anything about kangaroos. I don't know what a kangaroo is. I've never seen one in my life. What the fuck is a kangaroo?" And now I'm drawing them every panel. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And she's like, why is this?" And I was like,
She did a good job of it. I like the kangaroos.
She did a wonderful job. She pushed through. And so I asked her, I was like, "I'm so sorry. What do you want to draw? What can I put in this? Like, what do you love? Like, what's the thing that you're dying?" And she's like, "Tom, I want to draw samurai, and I want to draw corgis."
Corgis.
Okay.
So
I can't wait.
In upcoming Gen S backups, you will have samurais and you will have corgis. That was my writing challenge.
There's 3 things that are in every like Wonder Woman comic series like that I've read that I'm like, this is the epitome of Wonder Woman. It's kangaroos. It's some mention of kangaroos, or there is a kangaroo. There's her flipping a tank, and then there's her eating ice cream.
I haven't done the ice cream yet. I gotta get to the ice cream.
It's in the movies. It's in the DC like animated shows. Like it's always, if not all 3, 2 out of the 3, at least like some mention of a kangaroo somewhere. It's always those 3, and I look for those like little Easter eggs, like because I'm like, I know it's gonna be there somewhere.
I am old school kangaroo because I brought kangaroos back into continuity in the comics. They had not been mentioned a long time, and in a random Batman issue, I put that she still had the kangaroo. I can't say the word kangaroo. She still had Kanga and Jumpa, and it got a huge response. And they're like, "Oh, she's still so." I've been on Team Jumpa for like 7 years now.
I had to explain to my daughter because it's in one of the little TV shows that she rides a kangaroo, or like she has a kangaroo, and she's like, "Why is there a kangaroo?" And I'm like, "Don't question it. It is what it is. Like, accept it and move on."
Because early Wonder Woman comics are the craziest things you'll ever read.
Yeah,
they are flipping bizarre. Yes, that is an absolute joy.
Marston comes from Marston, I'm assuming. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the kangaroos are Marston. Probably, I don't know. He's an very interesting man with his own flaws.
So
all right.
So is your current plan on Wonder Woman just be ongoing, or do you already have a specific like number of issues story that you're telling?
No,
It's another
my
thing that came up at the comic shop today.
my plan is to go. I mean, Penguin's going to end at 12.
Okay.
Because the Hollywood work is kicking on my ass
Okay.
and picking up. So this you won't notice it probably for a year or two, but eventually you'll see my comic book production go down. But I'm Wonder Woman. I am sticking to like Lou and will not let go of both the front and the backups as long as they let me do them. Yeah, I mean, just to be the guy who wrote that stupid pitch. The idea is to do another 85 issues or 100 issues of Wonder Woman and then 100 issues of Superman. So then when I die, they can put on my grave, boy, he wasted his life. Yeah, that would be sort of the pie in the sky impossible goal would be to do 100 issues with all three of them.
will Love Everlasting continue for a while?
No Love Everlasting. I mean, yeah, No Love Everlasting takes a break after issue 15.
Okay.
That's the halfway point. It's a 30-issue series.
All right.
And
So you figured that out. The last time we talked, you didn't know that.
I didn't. Yeah, no, I figured it out. It's 30 issues.
In fact, I think it was on our air that you suggested, 35, 50 issues, and Elsa's eyes
like,
popped.
Elsa went, no.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And her eyes will still pop to this day. Elsa got I won't say she earned the distillery deal or she was so she's now writing for herself, which is very hard to compete with a writer who is her to be like, no, don't draw for her, she sucks as a writer, that's me. It's like
her distillery short is really good.
Yeah, no, she's fucking great. She's wonderful. And she deserves all the success in the world. She's been just the best partner to work with. I couldn't speak highly as a businesswoman, as an artist. I can't speak highly enough of her. So she's going to go and do that for a few years, and then I'm going to lure her back to draw the last 15.
Okay.
Is the plan. So yeah, Love Everlasting will take a pause after issue 15. So this final arc, which is sort of the story of
a saga on us.
The story of
back in 3 years.
Well, the difference being that like 50,000 people read Saga and like 6 people read Love.
No, there are more than 6 because I know more than 6.
There you go.
So there's at least 8.
There's 8 of us.
And then,
but there'll be a lot of stuff revealed in this final one about sort of the behind the scenes of how the world works and what the trap is and all that stuff. So you're going to get some answers in the third. Not all the answers, but some definitive. answers.
I think the last one that was published was the Western one.
Yeah, the Western. The last 5 are all they're called just West of Love.
Okay.
And they're Western themed because they're all about the cow. We switch point of views, and it's now the cowboy's point of view.
Okay, that's gonna be awesome.
So it's sort of his origin story, how he went from being, as you see that if you guys have read the first issue, he was just another paramour, of hers, and for the first time at the end of that issue, when she disappears to go to another land, we see that he's left over, that there actually is life beyond her, but he's in this weird condition where he saw her disappear. He saw her disappear, and the love of his life just left, and he has no idea why or where she's gone, and how we get from that to him being this sort of perpetual, a symbol of death in her life is the story of this third arc.
Okay, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's super good. It's fun because I get to write in that. That weird sort of Western style where you use those weird phrasings and reckons and all those stuff.
Well, yeah, we immediately talked about the Western motif and how, it doesn't get done very well anymore.
Yeah, which is depressing because it's incredibly fun. Oh my God, that
There
is
have
just
been more good ones lately.
Mhm.
I mean, I
yes.
just had Enfield Gang.
Yep.
Um, Azzarello and Risso are doing a western at Distillery.
Oh, that's
It
right.
looks pretty good. But yeah, the western comic like vanished off the face of the earth for. I mean, not entirely. You still had like Jonah Hex. And,
It's not just the comic. It did. I mean, I guess
yeah,
you can say that all the Yellowstone stuff is kind of bringing it back in popular culture, but
and you had
it's
Deadwood for a while. But yeah, no, you're right.
yeah,
The movies, it went from like lots of western movies to one good western movie every 4 or 5 years, and
yeah.
maybe one western movie of mediocre quality a year.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would love nobody. You know, it's funny. I was on a panel once with Heather Anton, and I was like, I'd love to do a western. Nobody would ever hire me. And afterwards, she's like, IDW will hire you to do a western. So yeah, maybe someday I can
They're
write a
doing some
western.
cool stuff at IDW.
They are
Um,
run by that same Mark Doyle who gave me the advice on the
yep,
pitch that we talked about earlier.
yep, yep.
So
Actually, you brought up your love of Star Trek earlier. Have you been reading their Star Trek line that Heather
I
has
am about
put together?
6 months behind, but I was reading it and it's wonderful. I love Kelly and oh my God, it's my name.
Jackson, Lansing, Colin
Jackson
Kelly,
Lansing Kelly.
and
Yeah,
and
I forget the
Chris.
I think of them as one human being because whenever I see them at the con, they're
Yep,
together and we go out to lunch and they like complete each other's
and
sentences.
then Chris Cantwell's doing
And
the
Chris
Defiant.
Cantwell's wonderful
Yeah,
Defiant. Yeah, no, I love both of those series. I'm a big Star Trek comic fan. I think that's I mean, no, I love the novels too.
right.
I should say, every once in a while, if you ever see me reading Star Trek novels, you know I'm in a bad place. That's if you ever
something
see me with
something
my
has gone
copy of
wrong.
Imzadi, no, really, yeah, it's very much like that is the ultimate comfort food to me, where I'm just like, I need something that will just warm the cockles of my heart, and I'll pick up an old Star Trek novel and reread it.
Well,
Um,
if it makes you feel better, I pick up the Super Friends issues with Lois and
with
Clark in.
Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
That does make me feel better.
Those are definitely among my happy places.
Those
Though
my
I'm telling you, I'm the backups of Wonder Woman are like my new happy place. So I'm kind of glad that they're going to be collected in all together in one issue.
yes, and we're gonna if I can get enough of them done, I'm gonna get a trade together that's just all of those things, and you'll
That
have a
would be
little
amazing.
trade, and then I'll get somebody to make a cartoon of them. I'm gonna do a whole thing. I want
Because I mean,
it's
one of
joyous
the
to me.
underrated DC books of the last decade was Super Sons. Um,
Totally
Yeah.
amazing.
particularly that first volume of Super Sons was just ridiculous.
I
I s-
love Pete Tomasi's work and
I,
Jorge's work on that.
I still
Brilliant.
remember the what is it, issue 5, where it's just an argument between Damien and John while they're grounded in the Batcave.
Yes, I mean that. I mean, you can tell how much I love that book. The fact that I was like, I just want to do that, but I'm adding one more character. Basically,
Right.
that's all
Well,
I.
and I mean, I love Bendis, so I'm not one of the ones upset. I like how he aged John, etc. But the one thing that upset me about aging John was it's not as fun to have the teenage John and the younger Damien with no little kid. So I love that you threw a little kid in so that we've got that whole dynamic.
And Blana draws them. You can't really tell the age difference in how she did. So it kind of like skirts that line of like who knows what happens in the future.
Right. Right.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I mean, I look. I'm a Bendis stan. I had breakfast with him at Baltimore. I just think he's one of my writing heroes. I just reread Alias, which I think is so brilliant.
oh yeah.
But yeah, I wish they hadn't aged him up. Just in my own personal opinion of the subject, I like him as the there was just so much potential story in having him in
There
that
was.
age.
There was. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I love it for Bendis's story and dislike it for the universe. And this is why I read so few superhero comics overall, because I don't like getting wrapped up in the universe. I don't want to have to think about, is this good for the story but not good for the universe? I just want to go, is this a good story? And if you read them selectively like I do, then I don't get caught up in the universe. Yeah,
See,
it doesn't matter what's going on over there.
I'm so entrenched in the X-Men, and there are so many titles.
It's
Yeah, Tyler's the reverse.
It's a damn soap
Yeah.
opera.
I don't know how they do that. It's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
People ask me like, do you want to write the X-Men? I was like, only if you can take away the last 30 years of continuity, because I don't think I could ever catch up.
And I've been doing that, and it's been a lot.
No, you just get yourself an assistant that knows the continuity.
That's true. Unfortunately, I
You can
wonder
say,
what
no, Tom, you can't do that. Well, can I do this? What if I do it with that character?
Tom, what would you like to write if you had your choice of, is there a character, a DC
anything.
Yeah,
anything I could write. Anything.
Yeah.
I go back to you remember Boom was doing Kaboom
Yep.
back in the day. And they had the Charles Schultz license, and they were doing new Peanuts comics.
Oh.
That's what I would do. If you really want my true answer, if I could do anything more,
That would be amazing.
I'm a huge Peanuts guy. I would just love to do that.
Okay, Tom, we have a comic strip club.
Dude, comic strip club. I'm a big comic strip guy. I love comic strips.
Bob Sikoriak, Carl Christian Krumholtz, and Sean Harkleroad, who's a Chicago area actor, and I get together every quarter and we talk about a comic strip. And we recorded one in October for Peanuts, but somehow both Tyler and I lost the recording, so it never got published.
It was me.
So well, no, I didn't. It was both of us.
Here's what happened was Tad emailed it to me, and then because he emails me the Zoom recording, it's only good for so long. You have to download it.
No, I have to delete it, but I thought you'd put it up.
Sure. So I never downloaded it from his email. He deleted it from his Zoom cache, and
no.
And apparently I normally download them too before I delete them, but
this is such a Charlie Brown story.
But
it's actually
the point
perfect
is, Tom,
on topic.
We have already decided that we're going to do it again in October, so I'd love it if you joined us.
Oh, yeah. That's my jam, man.
Yep,
I love
about the Peanuts.
And if you love comic strips, I will put in an email like we just recorded last weekend. What did we do last weekend? Tyler, you put it up. I have it right in front of me.
How many people can reach from their desk and pick up an original Garfield comic they bought for no goddamn good reason?
Really?
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a right there.
Oh, we just talked about Frank King.
Original Garfield.
That's sweet.
Yeah, Frank King.
Yeah, we just did Frank King. We're doing George Harriman in April.
Yeah.
And then we're doing Ernie Bushmiller in July. And then we're going to do Schultz again in
October.
There was a really good Schultz biography.
I read it. I read the Schultz biography.
In Peanuts comic form that just came out.
Oh, in Peanuts comic form? Oh, that I have not read. I read the prose one.
So did I. The prose one was really good.
Yeah.
Prose one is good.
He's one of those like artists that doesn't make sense because he lived kind of a boring life.
Right.
He's one of the comics are a very bizarre medium in that it was created by like urban Jews who were just trying to scrape together because they were kind of kicked out of other mediums. But the masters of the comic form, Karl Barks and Charles Schultz, were these Midwestern Methodists who just kind of lived very boring, nice people, almost the opposite of the creators. Fascinating. But yeah, I consider Charles Schultz to be the best person who's ever done comics, in my opinion. Like, just put words with pictures. That's. I mean, my son's name is Charlie, after Charlie Brown.
This one.
Which one? Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Funny things. A comic strip biography of Charles Schultz.
I'm going to get that. I'm going to buy that off the shelf. And I want to buy, there's that new
top shelf.
You answered Bernie Bushmiller. He has a new biography out too, which I would like to buy.
I've got that. Bill, who's the? It's done by like a legendary.
Do they? How do you? Charles Schultz had some bizarre downtimes in
Ray
his life.
Rocks. Bill Griffith did it.
Yes, Three Rocks. Yes, I have
Yeah.
to. I've read that How to Read Nancy. It's very fascinating. Read
It
that one.
is. It is. But yeah, no, I loved that they did the whole thing as like
Yeah.
It looks
You know,
great.
it's
Ooh, the
comic.
color is even better with the green.
yeah, the Sunday they did Sunday ones
Yeah.
and
Absolutely
Oh, the
wonderful.
blue's nice.
it's actually a couple of young French. I think they both were born after Peanuts stopped, which is like crazy.
Oh God, I remember seeing that in the paper. That's how old I am. The last.
I do
Penis
too.
strip. It happened the day after he died. Like, what a bizarre little thing. But
Yeah.
he never used assistants. He did it all himself. Unlike
Yeah.
Jim Davis, where you can tell like there's 1,000.
I mean,
There's
he
1,000
he
different versions.
used assistants a little bit for the comic, but it drove him up the wall anytime they did stuff wrong. He had to be convinced on the like the TV, the animation, that to let go.
Yes.
He'd look at stuff and he's like, that's not right. And they'd have to go, yes, but do you ever draw this at this perspective? We have to draw all of the different perspectives.
Oh, it's a fat. I can't imagine. You know, because he at the end of his life he had an affair with Lucy, which is like a bizarre. Did you ever heard that story?
No.
I think I have.
Yeah, that he had. You know, there was the Charlie Brown the musical, and he fell in love
Right.
with the girl who was playing Lucy in the show.
Oh wow.
So yeah, there's all sorts of weird Charles Schultz biography stuff.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
But
I can't express enough. I mean, how bizarre to be the most popular. I mean, no, Bill Watterson. I think if you just took a poll, everyone would say Bill Watterson's
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
But in terms of just making money and being in the conscience of America, I think Charles Schultz is number one. And he based it off of like the weirdest comic strip that it's about a boy who always fails.
right.
And it's and people are talking about theology, and it's all about him and like Berkeley Breed, the Bloom County, I have actually up on my wall a quote where he's like, I read Charles Schultz and I can just tell, basically he says how messed up he is. He puts everything that's messed up about him in his work. And that's what I love about it. And I was like, yes, that's exactly right. Like you could tell he was just, all of his issues were in these little kids playing.
Well,
Like,
I
it's
mean,
it's so beautiful just in itself that like it goes across generations because like it's just this beautiful little story about this guy that's just always there's always something wrong.
Yes.
And yeah, by the end, like you don't know. Sometimes it's right. Sometimes things are better. Sometimes they're not. It just kind of is what it is. But like it's done so beautifully, just in like so many panels that it goes across generations because you don't necessarily even have to read like what is being said, but you know, in like the expressions that he's given, that it's like, well, things didn't go right, but it kind of is okay. Like he's just gonna go on with his life, and that's fine.
I mean, it's amazing how much of our culture is telling stories about winners and who wins the game and all of this stuff. When, you know, the person who wins the Academy Award, that means 4 other people lost. So many more of us are losers. And he told it like Charlie Brown is just a loser. He loses the baseball game. He loses. And like, what happens next? And yeah, I incredibly dig that.
Well, I think one of the things that makes him so powerful, makes Watterson so powerful, makes you so powerful, makes almost
Oh yeah, put me definitely in that sentence. Yes,
I
of
will.
course.
Particularly for where I'm going, which is they work out what's bothering them, what's on their mind, what they see in the world on the page. They don't necessarily do it directly.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you don't write a lot of stories. I mean, you wrote Sheriff of Babylon, and that's probably the closest to autobiographical you've gotten. But you take the things you're thinking, you take the things that you're experiencing in the world, the things that are bothering you, the things that I imagine you think about outside of comics, and you work through them in your comics. When I was doing my research for Charles Schultz, I came across, and I'm not going to go nuts to find it right now, but he had in like the 80s, he had just a daily strip where Snoopy's trying to get a driver's license and can't get a driver's license because he doesn't have the proper paperwork or whatnot. Snoopy tries to get something else and he can't get it. But then Snoopy walks out with an assault rifle because he didn't need to have any of that stuff to get that.
Well done, Charles. Yeah. What I like about him is he when you're doing a strip a day, there's like two ways you can do it. You can be completely on the surface. You can be Marmaduke, to throw Marmaduke under the bus. Like, oh, the dog is big, or you can be like, shit. There's not enough story in the world to support this. I have to strip mine my own subconscious.
Right.
Which is, I think, what you see with Far Side and with
Yep.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Yep.
With George, but the crazy cat.
George Harriman.
Harriman.
Yep.
And Popeye, that stuff is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And when strips do that, when you're just like, oh, this is a man so desperate, all they can do is put their soul into it. I think strips become just incredible.
I mean, I think that's true of all art.
And Marmaduke, and occasionally Garfield.
Comics to me are the ideal art form, and therefore I'm really drawn to the comics. But I think that's true of great music. I think that's true of great poetry or prose.
I have an original Garfield on my wall that I look at every day. It's above my kitchen table, and Garfield is the most. It's like feeding sugar to your children. It's the same joke 30 times. It's ridiculous. It doesn't mean there's no deepness to Garfield. He actually just wants lasagna.
Right.
But the thing I have is Garfield stands on top of a newspaper John is reading, and John looks at him and goes, "Garfield, I was reading that," and without even looking at him in the face, Garfield goes, "No one cares about your past, John." And this makes me laugh. I constantly tell my children when they're complaining,
That definitely feels like my cat.
no one cares about your past. I was reading that. Anyways, that's very nice. We should talk about Helena Windhorn before I go.
I was just gonna
say Helena Windhorn is coming up on FOC, and you were kind enough to let us read the first issue, and a couple of us actually did.
Very pretty. It's very pretty.
Throw me under the bus, Tad. Throw me under the bus.
I didn't say which of us didn't.
You do not know. Now, this is actually, I think this is a boon for me. I appreciate this.
Sorry.
Now, you can read it later, maybe closer to when it comes out, and then you can comment on it online.
I've ordered it.
That's all. Wonderful.
Yeah, I got it on my pull list too. It's one of the books that I had to check to see if it was on my pull list, because I'm certain that the first time I asked for it was before it was solicited.
In my defense, I have a very, very busy life. So when Tad sends me something, I need a good long while to get to it before
he's
I can
got a 4-year-old. You remember having 4-year-olds.
I remember having 4-year-olds.
So does Sam, but
I got a 3 and a 4.
A 3 and I remember I had a 3 and a 4 at one point in my life. That's some horror. That's a horror show.
Yeah.
Don't recommend.
Well, anyway,
I have 2 and 4-year-old grandkids. I get to give them back.
Anyway, let's talk about Helen of Windhorn.
Yes. Give us first the front counter pitch.
There's a deeper pitch of what the book is actually about, but this is the pitch I want. If people are listening to this and are thinking about, should I get the book or should I get the book? If this is all I want you to take away from any of this, if you like Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, if you like that book, which is my best-selling book, the one that's going to be a movie, all that stuff, then you'll like Helen. It's more of that. If you got to the end of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, you're like that. I like this, I want more. This is supposed to be more. It's from the writer, the penciler, the inker, the colorist, and the letterer of that book. The only thing that changed was the editor, and it was not only that, but it was written
and the publisher.
And the publisher, yeah. And it was written back when I was writing Supergirl. It was written almost right after that. I wrote 2 years ago. So even if you're like, man, Tom really lost a step in his writing. This is the 2 year ago Tom who still knew what the fuck he was doing. This is that guy. So it was written from day one to be that. It was written to be like, if you like the vibe you're getting with Supergirl, if you like sort of a a story about a young woman finding her way in a complicated world. Here is more of that. That's sometimes I read a book and I was like, God damn, I love that so much. I want to read the next thing, and it's not there. Or I watch a show and I was like, when's the next season coming out? This is just like the next season of Supergirl. So that's the pitch. If you like Supergirl, get this. Now I can go into the plot and what the whole thing's about if you'd like.
Well, I mean, at least a little.
So
I like that pitch. That's a great pitch.
Thank you. The elevator pitch, the weird elevator pitch, it's Wuthering Heights meets Conan. That's very weird.
Okay.
See, it says Wizard of Oz meets Conan in the
because
publicity.
The Dark Horse has no faith in the literary quality of my audience. that they're not going to get some Bronte sisters shit. They got to go to the fucking movies. But I have faith that you, like me, were once trapped in a high school English class and had to read that book overnight.
I wasn't thinking about the movie Wizard of Oz. I was thinking about the Oz books. I love the Oz books.
Oh, I'm sure that's not what they were thinking of.
That's probably true.
That's a very different take.
Yes, but it's combining Gothic literature, which is sort of tales about young women who go into houses and find mysteries, a very popular genre that's been around for hundreds of years, with Conan, which is about a barbarian warrior in a magical land. And the tale itself, if you know anything about Conan, the writer of Conan, who famously created this entire genre of fiction that's still with us today, when he was still pretty young, I think about 30, his mother died, and he was a semi-famous writer, and he left her. He found out she was dead, left her deathbed, walked to his car, and shot himself in the head. And nobody kind of understands why there's a whole movie about it with Vincent D'Onofrio. Nobody kind of understands why that happened or sort of what that moment was about and what that meant for what the fantasy of Conan means. And I took that and I sort of riffed on it. And so I'm writing about a writer of Conan stories who kills himself, as the original person did. My Conan's called Othin. And but in this one, he has a 16-year-old daughter who kind of worships him and loved him and sort of lived this peripatetic nomadic life with him. And because she's 16, she has nowhere to go. And her grandfather comes and gets her. Her grandfather, who she doesn't know, brings her back to his house. She's lived this sort of, this sort of poor life. And suddenly she goes to this sort of rich New England house and finds it abandoned. And she's, she explores it. And she's dealing with the idea that her father, who she loved, killed himself. And what she learns to discover is that her grandfather is this Conan character, is this Othin character. And the stories her father had been writing this whole time were based on her grandfather's life. And so the whole book as a whole is about this grandfather and this granddaughter, and the world that separates them and the man that separates them, and both of them coming to terms with the fact that someone's son killed himself, someone's father killed himself, and how can they sort of deal with that grief. So that's what the book is about. But that's a long pitch. Remember the beginning. If you like Supergirl, by Helen.
No, I mean, I was already on board, but I'm definitely every bit as excited or more so now. And Bilquist really knocks it out of the park.
Much like when I was on Human Target, when I could just sell the book by art. Like that was the first time, I worked with the best artists in the world, but when Greg's art was coming in, I was like, you don't need to read the words. Just look, this is groundbreakingly beautiful. That's the same thing with Helen. Yeah. Bilquist and Matt Lopez, who colors it, are just out of their mind. She's been working on these pages for, like I said, for 2 years, basically. There's like 15 lines where you'd expect to find one. Right. You fall into the pages.
Yeah, no,
she invokes another world.
I desperately want the oversized hardcover already.
I can't. It gets even more because the first issue takes place sort of in the 1930s in this wasteland, and you get to see the building, you get to see a little. But as we go on, she visits the Conan world, and we get to see Bilquist basically create a fantastical fantasy land in her very unique style. And
and she does a great job of
absolute mind blowing
mansion. So I can't imagine what she'll do with fantasy.
No, it's.
I mean, I find myself staring at the library here.
I would send, I have an ongoing chat that goes on all day with Mitch Doc Shaner and Clay Mann, just my best friends in comics.
Right.
And I would send them these pages. They were coming in, and they would just be like, "Fuck her." I mean, in the nicest way possible. But they're like, "I'm an artist. Why is she doing this to me?" You know, like. So yes, I mean, she went above and beyond, and absolutely killed this book and created this character Helen, and made her three-dimensional and made her into something special. And yeah, it's told in that third person, similar to Supergirl, where it's in that Sherlock Holmes sort of style, which is where an observer is telling the entire story. This time, instead of being a young Western woman, it's an older kind of British schoolmarm.
Right.
But so it has, it's written kind of that little. It's a different kind of narration, but I can't say enough how proud I am of this book, and get on the ground floor. I mean, we're already with Hollywood stuff, and
wow,
buy the book before it's a movie or a TV show, whatever we decide to make it. Please.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I've got my order in. I can't wait for it to come out. I don't usually read the ahead of time stuff that gets sent over to us, so I hope don't take it personally.
I'm like,
and I'm like, I want to wait for it to hit the stands to pick up my copy, and I'm a Wednesday warrior.
I am too, but I'm still.
I totally understand.
You can always send me stuff early, Tom.
This is my first Dark Horse book, so I can't speak for if it's going to be printed well. I just am kind of crossing my fingers. I imagine.
I was going to ask you
Dark Horse does good work.
I was going to ask you that. How's it been working with Dark Horse?
Wonderful, absolutely. I did Image, and I did not the company is very nice. I like the people there.
Sure.
I did not enjoy the do-it-yourself concept, just as a personal preference.
Right. Image is all about you do everything.
You do absolutely everything. And I was working with a very organized, put together person in Elsa, and we also hired an editor. So that was like I had two wonderful partners on this, and I still felt buried by how much of the do-it-yourself you're doing. So I love being, I have a book at Boom, I have a book at Dark Horse. Much to my own personal preference, I like being in a house with an editor who can do that organization. I just don't have I don't have time to answer emails. I don't have time. All I have time to do is write. So Dark Horse has been wonderful. Daniel Chabon is our editor, and he's super cool and super nice about it. Yeah, so far. And then if anyone cares about that shit, the rights deal was fantastic. So everything's great.
That's awesome.
I love that you're doing more creator-owned work. I'm assuming just because I haven't seen any announcement that there's nothing more to talk about, but is there anything else in the pipeline?
There's one more creator-owned that's been written and is being drawn. It's very pretty. And yeah, that'll be... I mean, I have books upon books I have to do, but everything is Hollywood dependent these days.
Sure.
It's just whether Hollywood is such a crapshoot, and you absolutely have no idea. I mean, this is my 5th run at Hollywood.
Are you allowed to talk about what you're doing there right now, or is it?
No, I can't talk about shit. Everything is under wraps. No, it makes sense. But the things I'm doing are getting closer and closer to being real, and once they're real, it's going to be just a cascade of work that's going to keep me busy. If it's real, which it probably won't be real. So it's one of those things where you have to keep going. So that's why. Yeah.
Just I always struggle with how to ask this question because I don't want to ask it in like a mean way.
How dare you? Hey, Wally West, really?
No. Is writing for Hollywood like an aspiration, or is it like an opportunity and a bigger paycheck?
That's not a mean question at all, and it's a question I actually ask myself a lot. It's not an aspiration. The fact that I love writing for comics and would write for comics forever, and Lord knows I'm, knock on wood, I'm well paid to write in comics.
Right.
But I mean, there's a number of factors. Comics are always on the edge of dying, and you never know. You kind of just want a backup plan. I know they're not, but
No, they're not.
I'm a worry wart. You know me. That's why
I
I
know,
constantly
I
worry.
am too. But
So
statistically speaking, they're not. Even people who are going nuts over the fact that manga sales fell, and oh, that means that the bubble of new readers is going away. No, most manga books have like 50, 60 volumes already. People bought those already. They don't need to buy them again. You need to know what the new manga sales are before you can say whether or not they've actually fallen. Graphic novel sales continue to go up. Monthlies might go away, but you're particularly good at writing longer stories. You will be fine.
I'm one of the more optimistic people. I think it's actually a really good year for comics that are coming up. And I think it's going
I
to be
guarantee it'll
really
be a
good.
good year for comics.
Once we start revamping, once Hollywood gets sort of its stuff on track with the superhero stuff for 2025, I think it's going to be very big. I think we might look at another Batman '89 moments where just people and I mean some of this is just economics. When the bank turns up interest rates, people stop buying things.
Yeah.
That's just and that's
but it's also
like Hollywood has taken a 20% hit on movies, and we've hit a 6% hit.
The stores that complain the most are the ones that rely the most on weekly superheroes. They haven't figured out how to do other
But
things.
I'm a weekly superhero writer, so
you're not only a weekly superhero writer.
But I love being a weekly superhero.
Well, that's okay. But I don't think superheroes are going away either. And
No.
and DC and Marvel are just I mean, DC's been at the cutting edge of doing YA stuff. They're already positioning themselves to be able to do graphic novel rather than weekly superhero, or weekly superhero to back up the graphic novel. It's not going to be an industry issue. It's going to be an issue for stores that don't know how to do more things, or stores that don't have a customer base that allows them to do more things. I wish that it weren't, but it's not going to be an industry issue. Comics are healthy.
I agree with everything you said, and yet I still have in my back of my head that Tom, keep diversifying. Like
that's fair. But I want you to diversify into Helena Windorm and Animal Pound.
I can't get it out of my head.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll watch any TV show that you write too.
Yeah.
Like when Chris tells me he's writing a new TV show, I'm going, okay, I got to find time to watch your Max Headroom. Can't believe I want to watch Max Headroom now.
Is Chris Cantwell doing that?
It hasn't been killed yet. It
okay.
was something that was greenlit before the strike, so it's
all right.
As long as there's parents that are gonna buy comics for their children, comics are not going to go.
Libraries are buying more of them. Schools are buying more of them.
I'm buying more of them. I bought a ton of comics this weekend.
We left with the one issue of Aquaman on the shelf because my 3-year-old could not leave the store. The one Aquaman.
Actually, that's her question for you. Are you planning to do 100 issues of Aquaman at some point?
Absolutely. Doesn't everyone have 100 Aquaman stories in them? There's like the one where he goes in the water and the one where
if anyone can make Aquaman cool, you can.
I know Ram V made Aquaman kind of cool.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
Do you know I pitched an Aquaman thing that got laughed out of the room? Have you heard this story?
No, I haven't. I want to hear this story.
It was at the height of I'm still okay, but when I was like doing Vision and Mr. Miracle, and when I was
right before you were on Conan.
Yeah, right before Conan. Yeah. And most of my pitches were like, people ask me like, where's Superhero? Where's the pitch to publish? I was like, I just pitched that to Dan in the hallway. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So this was a similar thing where I was in the hallway. I was like, Dan, I got another Vision idea. It's going to be great. It's for Aquaman. And he's like, let's hear it. What is it? And I was like, Aquaman and a goldfish in a bowl go on a road trip through America. And they just, there's some goal they're trying to reach. He's trying to bury a friend or something, like a 90s movie. And it's just him and a goldfish as his partner. And he's talking to the goldfish the whole time, but we never hear the goldfish talk back. And he just looked at me. And so it's Aquaman exploring America and what America means. and a great title. It was called American Aquarium. That was the best part of it.
I would totally read that book.
And it was about like his, it was about his deep friendship with his goldfish that he developed.
That
and
sounds
where
like
they
a
were
Ryan.
going.
That sounds like a
Okay, so
Ryan
you have-
North
you have
story.
two people. There's two
Yeah,
people.
I
who will
would
read it.
totally read that book.
And Dan's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Who do you find?" I was like, "Oh, I'll find people for him." It would be like that those Daredevil issues where he's just wandering the middle of the and he's like, "No." I was like, "Oh man, Aquaman and his goldfish on a road trip." I see him in a convertible. He's driving. He's got the goldfish in the water.
It's the modern hard traveling heroes. That's how you have to pitch it.
That's what it would be, man. It'd be like traveling with Charlie, with a John Steinbeck.
I mean, I'm not a Dan hater, but Dan's gone, so you need to pitch it again.
repitch American Aquarium. That was such a great title. That was what I liked about it best.
I mean, it feels like it could be a Black Label book, or it feels like it could be one of their YA books. It's the graphic novel.
No, it's
gonna
canon.
be dark as shit. No, man.
Okay, then it could be a Black Label book.
We're not doing YA here.
We're going Black Label.
Have you seen America? We gotta go R-rated.
Hey, have you read some of their YA books?
Yes, I
Not
have.
all of the YA books.
True. That's true.
My kids have read all the YA books too.
Well,
yes. So that was my Aquaman pitch. So it got rejected. I remember. I think it was at San Diego, and Jan's like, no.
no, not happening.
I would totally read that book. That would be the first Aquaman book that I ever. Kelly Sue DeConnick couldn't get me to subscribe to Aquaman.
I used to like.
Get me to
when I was a kid, I liked
Aquaman.
Peter David's Aquaman.
I've heard good things.
I was a regular, like off the shelf Aquaman, but I think that was the last time I sort of cared about the.
I've heard great things about David's run. I've meant to read it for years, and I still think it's probably like 1,000 books down on my pile.
It's also like he did like 4 runs, and there's like 6 miniseries. There's like 120 issues. He's done the 100 issues of Aquaman. Only Peter David is.
Well, and for that matter, even in terms of Peter David, I need to read the rest of his whole.
Yeah, that's even more issues. Yeah, that's true. And his Star Trek, best Star Trek comic book writer of all time, Peter David.
I'm not going to tell Cantwell that you said that, but
sorry, Cantwell. Just sorry.
Okay, maybe I will tell him that.
It's because I'm old. That's why.
He was taunting me with pictures of Dodger Stadium yesterday, so maybe I will.
There's no way he doesn't put Frank Miller above me as a Batman writer, so I think this is totally fair.
I put you above Frank.
Yes, of course. Writer. Yeah, that doesn't everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And I love Frank. I love Frank Miller.
No.
I think he's actually a better Daredevil writer than a Batman writer. So you got to go write Daredevil, and then we'll decide whether.
I was explaining to my kids how good Born Again was at the dinner table today because they were like, "What happened to that Born Again series?" I was like, "I don't know. All you had to do is make it. It's perfect. Yeah. All you have to do is follow that blueprint and make that series."
It's such a good book.
Yeah.
It might be the best pure superhero book ever written. I don't know. Maybe it'd be up there.
It's up there. So actually, some of my favorite Daredevil is the stuff in between his first run and Born Again, when you could tell
the Denny O'Neil stuff.
Well, specifically when he worked with Mazzucchelli.
Yeah.
The Denny O'Neil, David Mazzucchelli, particularly like the one, they did a lot of one and done stories in there.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That are just outstanding. Before we let you go, is there anything you're reading lately? Anything you want to plug that's not yours?
I just read Ducks, which I know I'm like a year and a half behind, and it was
fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Samantha, that's one for you too. That's another mental health one to push your direction.
It's almost like a horror. It's pointed like a revelatory memoir, but it reads like a horror novel. It's like a Kafka-esque horror novel. Stray Dogs by Tony Fleece. I think it's good. Yep. I cried at the end. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I cried at the end of a comic book, but it's been a long time.
He's got a cat book coming up called Feral.
I love him. He's a nice guy too. Yeah. Everyone's reading, but Lowly at the Center of the Earth I just read and I thought was just absolutely amazing.
Zoe Thorogood is.
Yes, I thought that was utterly brilliant. I need an old reread, but I reread the Brubaker Phillips Archie arc, which I think is called The Time of the Innocent or The Innocent. It's part of Criminal.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
And
For a
I
second
think
there, I'm like, they did an Archie, and no, I know what you're talking about.
within Criminal, they
Right,
did
right.
like their Watchmen version of Archie.
Right.
The Last of the Innocent, I think.
Last of the Innocent. Yes.
And I think it's their best work. And
It's phenomenal.
I could
Though
not
their
recommend
new book
it
is
enough.
really.
I haven't read it. It's on my literal next to read pile.
Yeah, it's really good.
So yeah, those are the comics I've read in the last few weeks.
Cool.
And they're very good. Yeah.
Tom, thank you so much for coming on the show again. We really appreciate it.
Sam, any more questions? So you
No.
can bug him. You can bug him. What? A week
Yeah,
and a
I'm
half
gonna
from
go see him
now
next
in
week.
Orlando.
Please
Yeah.
come by and bug me. Say hello in person. Well,
Absolutely.
I want to hear about your kids and their bizarre stories.
I'll be
be there.
sad.
They'll be
I'll
there.
be
Oh,
jealous
awesome. I'll
'cause
say hi.
You'll get to meet Tom in person before I do.
I'm so excited.
Tom, are you
Slacker,
coming to?
slacker.
Are you doing C2E2 this year?
Didn't invite me. Reed Pop.
How
Didn't
dare
invite
they?
me. How dare they? Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
asked
could just
about
come-
that.
You could
I
just
used to
come
do
anyway.
C2E2 every year
Uh-huh.
back in like 13, 14, 15.
Sam, are you guys going to panel again?
I think we're gonna try to get C2E2. We usually do one at C2E2, and then we do one at the Fan Expo. What was that? Wizard World? Not Wizard World.
Yeah, there's a
But-
Fan Expo Chicago in
Right.
the summer, which there's a possibility I might come to. But I don't think so.
What's the dates of
'Cause
C2E2?
I'm saying, I forget.
Is it March again?
I like C2E2. It's a nice content, a carpet going on. They have wonderful foods.
They got rid of the carpet.
They got rid of the carpet?
Yeah,
Terrible.
They don't have a carpet.
Yeah,
Horrible decision.
I was there last year.
April 26th to 28th.
April.
C2E2 was the last con I did before COVID. I did it in
I know it
February
was.
2020. Yeah.
So Tom, I'll tell you, I have a spare bedroom as long as you're not allergic to cats. And Samantha,
Sir, I am allergic to cats. That is something.
Oh.
I grew up with cats and
Well,
thought I had
Sam, do you have
horrible
a
hay
spare
fever.
bedroom?
I have a bedroom, please.
See,
I have a
Sam-
husky. We have a dog. So if you're good with dogs,
But we know he's not allergic to dogs.
I'm not allergic to dogs.
not
So
allergic to
so
dogs.
and if they've got a panel, you'd be perfect for it. They do a panel about social emotional learning through comics.
And
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you. in
and
Chicago.
I live in the
Yeah.
I live in the
Well-
boonies of Minnesota, so there's nowhere to visit
So
for
you
me.
could just come out to be part of their panel and not have.
Well,
a
I could
table.
go see Peter Gross, who lives in the boonies of Minnesota.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll all be down there, all three of us.
Do you know Doug Mankey? I don't live far from Doug.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he lives in the
Yeah,
city.
Minnesota's got some comics. You got Peter Gross, and obviously Mitch is Minnesota born and bred.
Is he?
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was in Minnesota too.
he
Peter
moved
Krause
from
is in Minnesota.
Minnesota to Phoenix, Arizona. He only lives in extreme weather. So Mitch
I know
just lives
it. That's true. Anyway, so
Well-
any last questions, guys? All right.
I have a last question. Or a comment. I just want to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for being online. I'm waiting for the day you post Tom King is not good at comics to know I should
Never
read
gonna
it.
happen.
And
Among other things, that's one of our things. We don't talk about things we don't like.
I'm the same way. I don't talk about things I don't like. And I was just how grateful I am for the support for me and the support for all comics and the guys that you guys are out there. And we talked about the comic industry. The reason the comic industry survives is because it spurs conversation, and it's because of what you guys do. So I'm just expressing my gratitude for
Thank
you
you.
guys.
We love talking about comics. We love talking with you. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
All
Tyler,
right.
take us out, and then we'll babble at him for a couple minutes before we let him go.
Sounds
Sweet.
good. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you after the next page. See ya. Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22 Panels Podcast.